Hey folks, KILT-MAN here. KILT-MAN at your blaggy services. How are you all? I think we're all doing very, very well. Now, a bit of time travelling involved here. Right now, you guys are way ahead of me as to what's in the package just there. Because you can read the title of the video and the description in the thumbnail. So, what is it? I don't know. We have a t-shirt, a mystery t-shirt from Astradyne, your friend and mine. Astradyne, a traveller in time. Or as he's now known, Sir Astra of the Dyne. And he sent a t-shirt. It arrived actually a good few days ago now. But other things have happened and life and stuff gets in the way. And so I said to him, I messaged him back and said, oh, it's arrived. What kind of thing is this I'm expecting here? And he said something along, I said, is it going to be, he goes, it's from the historical range of the t-shirt I sent you last time. He sent a lot of t-shirts. And the last t-shirt that we got was this. This one here. What the fuck is that? And it's about the Mark I tank, British tank that fought the Germans, the Krats, in World War I. And that was the first day they were brought into action. And I had to think on my toes and try to work out all the things I knew about First World War tanks, which actually I wasn't too bad, thinking off the cuff like that. So he said that this t-shirt is from the same historical range as that shirt. So I said, oh, what are we talking about? Battle of Trafalgar, Battle of Waterloo, the Colosseum. And he went, oh, you're there, you're on the right track with that. So I went, chariot races, gladiators. It's got to be gladiators. And of course, yes. I know a thing or two about Rome. Well, I know some bits about Rome. But is it Rome? Or is he throwing me a curveball? Is it ancient Greece? Is it, I don't know, Mesopotamia? Is it ancient warlords of China? I don't know. I think it's Rome. Something to do with Rome. It's got to be gladiators. Everyone knows I've got a vast collection of stuff from the film Gladiator. You've seen it all before. I have not hauled it all down here. One of the stunt helmets is there, I know, one of the 9 that they made for that sequence, the Battle of Carthage, the Massacre of Carthage. I have spears, latex wounds, I have a full costume from Russell Crowe, including the sword. Wait, I thought I brought the sword down. I did bring it down, don't know where I put it though. And I've got all the replica stuff as well, but I've got an actual full costume from, I know, I've told you this before, I've shown you before. So anyway, the package is here. And yes, I haven't opened it, don't worry. It arrived like this, with a kind of like weird sort of, has someone had a go at it? You can't see in there, so I've got no idea. But, so I have arranged a playlist of Roman film music. There's quite a lot of it here. It's a ripe genre. The sword and sandal and toga genre of the 40s, 50s and 60s was immense. Ridley Scott, of course, brought it back with Gladiator, ushering in a whole new era of big historical epics, the likes of Troy, 300, Kingdom of Heaven, yada yada yada. So anyway, time is of the essence. It's been dreary and dull and overcast all morning, Sunday morning here right now, but the temperature it's clammy, it's pure jungle, it's really making your hair do things like this. Nobody wants that, do they? So I want to get out into the sunshine, because the sun's come out now. That's what the point was trying to make. The sun's now come out. So right, let's get into this. And we're in. I think, well, I can see, oh, well, I can see something. Can you see something? Is that the Imperator himself? Well, right, I think I've got the right way now. Right, you guys can see it first. Is it a joke? Is it a gag? Is there something? Is it a pun? A2 Brute. What are they doing? Am I seeing that? They're playing battleships. Battleships. Well, the Colosseum had big staged naval battles, as you've seen in Gladiator 2. They didn't transport sharks there then, trust me on that one. Yeah, they're playing battleships. A2, oh. He's doing the targeting, isn't he? You know, A2, Brute, and you got like, you put a little pin or a little X on your battleship. It's all your squares are like, you know, they all got numbers, so that letters and numbers. So you're trying to sink your opponent's battleships. I know, I'm speaking the obvious here, aren't I? But did they ever play battleships back in the day? And what day was it? March 15th, 44 BC. March 15th, that's the Ides of March. That's when he was killed, wasn't it? That's when Julius Caesar was stabbed to death by the conspirators led by Brutus and Cassius. I know they wanted to kill Mark Antony as well, but Brutus said no, you can't do that because the people love Mark Antony. And what were they doing? They were trying to take out who they viewed as being a tyrant. Caesar himself they viewed as being a tyrant. The conspirators wanted to bring back a republic, but Caesar was having that. He refused the crown. He just said, I'll sit on a golden throne forevermore. I will be dictator for life. And Mark Antony was all for this. But Brutus, or Brute, who some would say was Caesar's son, because Caesar's favourite mistress was Brutus's mum. But I think that's been disproved. I don't think the age gap was too great. You know, he couldn't possibly have sired Brutus. And in the Roman Civil War, Brutus served with Pompey against the Senate and against Caesar. But at the end, with being defeated, Brutus defected to Caesar's side, and Caesar welcomed him. You know, because, well, you're the son of my favourite mistress. You could actually be my real son. So took him in and made him, you know, highly appointed in the Senate. And he was an efficient soldier as well, Brutus. But as time went by, they realised Caesar was getting to be a bit of a pain in the ass, and he wanted a republic back. So they recruited a load of people of the Senate. I don't know who they were, I don't know how many, but and on the Ides of March, the 15th, that is the Ides of March, isn't it? We always think of it now as being, oh, the Ides of March, but Romans had Ides in every month. I don't know what that means, by the way, but they had an Ide in every single month. But it was normally on a different date. I think only a couple of months had it as the 15th, normally it's the 13th, but in March it's the 15th, and that's when they stabbed him to death. They all had to go, sticking him, shivving him, and like, that's where the line comes in. You know, like, it says there A2 Brute for the game, obviously, but it's et tu Brute, which actually means and you, Brutus, and you, because Brutus reveals himself to be one of the conspirators and puts the final knife into what was his once friend and potential father, certainly father figure. And there's several accounts of how he died. I'll use the great Roman scribe, was it Brian from Life of Brian? Who was it? Suetonius or someone like that. There's several different endings for Caesar. One version has it that he just like, oh, fuck it. Puts his toga over his head and just says, just do it, will you? And you all fucking give it loads. Another version say that he actually, you know, he stood there, like, confronted him defiant, and then took the knives and thrusts, and then Brutus reveals himself, and like, he's like, you too, Brutus, or and you, Brutus. The actual quote from the original scribes is that, and you, child, not meaning it's his child, it's his child, but people like Shakespeare take it as being that. I don't know. there's loads of different accounts for it, but he got stabbed about 23 times, and it's Brutus that puts the final killing blow in there. But it didn't work out for Brutus and Cassius and all the other conspirators. They thought they were going to be like liberators, and the people of Rome would love them. Oh no, people of Rome did not love them at all. They were known as assassins. So they were like persecuted, and I think Cassius and Brutus both took their own lives. Well, I think they did anyway. Brutus certainly killed himself. Several years later, I don't know. But they're playing battleships. A2 Brute. You sunk my battleship. Wasn't it? Do you know what? I never had battleships as a kid. I never had the game. You could play it just on a piece of paper, just so you had some kind of dividing screen between you and your opponent, and you just write down A2, and you'd hit the stern of a battleship or a warship. You had different types of ships there. Filling up, obviously a battleship was like 6 squares. So I can't remember, but obviously more than most. Unless you had an aircraft carrier, which would be that'd be half the page, wouldn't it? And obviously, if you cover every square it's in with hits, then you've sunk it. And whoever sunk everyone's other fleet, then you're the winner, obviously. But they brought out in like the late 70s and the 80s, there was a computerized battleships game, which actually had like sort of the sound. It was a proper plastic and glass and LED sort of divider. And you had the sound effects when you pressed the A2 again, like sort of things. Oh, I wish I had it now. I don't think I've ever actually played the game either. That sounds absurd. But I think I've sat and watched my mates playing the computerized one. I think I may have done the paper one when I was a kid, and when I was a kid, these two were in power. When in Rome, But there you go. Again, you've got the olive drab, which I love, the military style green. Love that colour. And I love the fit of these t-shirts as well, because they're actually, sometimes I look really chunky on this. I know the face always does, the big barrel head that I've got, but sometimes I look really bulky, and I'm not that bulky. I only wear medium t-shirts. Medium covers a wide range of sins, but medium is what I wear, and as long as I get my arms into it, I'm all right. But these they fit. They kind of compress. If you've got a bit of a spare tire going on, they kind of compress it down a bit. They're quite clever, intuitive shirts they are. Designed to make you look good, despite how obscure the imagery on them may be. A2 Brute. So which one's Caesar? Well, they've both got laurel leaves. I hope you've noticed that my own emperor here, Kentuckius Fugius, is wearing a laurel leaf there. Although, well, they say the sun shines on the righteous, do they not? And the sun is blazing through the I put the curtains across, but the sun's still streaming through and illuminating him with the radiance of Rome. Speaking of Rome itself, let's go for is it this? From Gladiator. Yeah. Or Rome is the Light. With Lisa Gerard singing on Hans Zimmer's score for Gladiator. But yeah, they both got laurel leaves on. That's obviously Caesar, because you've got the seal going around the front of it, for lack of a better phrase. But it's cool. Cheers, Astradyne. Once again, you have travelled in time yourself. Let's go back and get this. And this Gladiator was on the way out. I had written in my first published anthology, Twisted Tales Volume 1. I think the very first, no, maybe it was the first, or it might be, it's called Arena. Now, Gladiator was being made, it was in development at the time, but I was inspired. I always loved, film, like Airplane. Joey, do you like films about gladiators. Well, yes, this Joey does. And but it wasn't a film that inspired me. I've always loved gladiator stuff, like, and mano-a-mano combat. I've always loved that kind of thing. And but Jeff Wayne, he of War of the Worlds fame, did a musical version of Spartacus, which I think I've played bits for you before, and no one ever talks about it. Alan King played Spartacus. You had Anthony Hopkins and Catherine Zeta-Jones in it. It was never a stage show. It's an album. It's a concept album, and it's here. There it is, double CD. Fantastic, really great sort of prog rock music, and fantastic lyrics, which tells the story of Spartacus and the revolution. And Anthony Hopkins plays Crassus, who foresees that Spartacus could become, a real threat to Rome. Well, it was hearing that and the wonderful music and really dynamic stuff, so I thought, you know what, I'm going to write a story about what really happened in the arena, not the way it's often portrayed in movies. I know Ridley Scott obviously did it as well, but I did it first because my book was published in 1999 and the film came out in 2000. I picked him at the post, and so I got tattooed with this SPQR, which means Senatum Populus Romanum, or the Senate and People of Rome. And people are fond of saying, like, oh, it was a brand, so you could never escape. They'd find you unless you cut your arm off, or as Maximus himself does, with a stone, starts chewing into it, trying to saw it away. But a lot of people who, like Roman legionaries and slaves, gladiators, a lot of senators as well, people would wear it. Roman citizens wanted to brandish like a badge of honor. Yes, I belong to the Senate, in Rome, because Rome is the light. But others hated it, obviously despised it, because they were branded. But a lot of people viewed it as something which was great. So I've been sporting that since, 2000. And me and Mrs. KILT-MAN went to Rome, and I think I've told this story before, and I was strutting about Rome. It's never less than 10,000 people in any 1 foot square of space. It's so busy, it's unbelievable. Maybe my hatred of crowds was born from there. Although I actually had a good time in Rome, so I don't know, might not have been. But I was strutting about, and I was pretty lean because I was just at the end of the Marines at that stage, and I was like, right, strutting about, all ripped. And someone who saw me in the crowd, a woman, older woman, came rushing out of a side street and grabbed me and started pointing down to the alleyway, the street that she was in, like saying, babbling in Italian, and I don't understand Italian. Pizza and lasagna, that's about the extent of it. And she's pointing down there, and I thought, oh, do you want me to pose for a picture? So I started going like, and I fucking posing now, and she's going, and she's pointing, and I was like, what the hell? What do you want? And then someone who spoke English, a fella, come over, and he was laughing. He said, she thinks you can fix the pipes, the drains. I said, what? She goes, well, it's because of that. I said, what? They said it in People of Rome. He goes, that doesn't mean that anymore. It means you work for the Roman council. And he said, look around you at the lampposts and the manhole covers and those electrical circuit box things, these relay station things, SPQR. Basically, she thought I was a council worker. I was going to clear their drains for her. Many of the times I've had women come up to me and ask me to clean their drains for them in foreign places. But so no, I didn't do it. I have a particular skill set, and that is not one of them. But Rome's great. Rome, you've got to be careful in Rome. In any massive, busy tourist festoon city in Europe or the world, to be honest, if you've got people who are tourists and it's wandering around, taking pictures, not lovely, they've got bags, they've got rings, they've got watches, they've got phones, they've got cameras. A lot of Americans still have big chunky cameras slung around their necks. Well, pickpockets and street thievery is absolutely rampant. Barcelona's the worst, by the way. Barcelona is it's not to do with Rome, but if you go into Barcelona, which is lovely, it's great, I had a fantastic time there, but you are a target. No matter how clever and canny you think you are, and how much you're on shark alert. The wife got robbed there. All their mates got robbed there. Not just once, but several times while they were there. But I didn't get robbed. I was doing the thieving myself, like that. But so be careful when you're out visiting these places. But they are worth going to, beyond any shadow of a doubt. Just keep your wits about you. But yeah, Rome. Rome is the light. But you have not seen what Rome has become. But Richard Harris as Marcus Aurelius, you know, the true emperor of Rome. He says to Maximus, like, I want you to be protector of Rome. Well, do you accept this great honour that I offer you? With all my heart, no. Maximus, that is why it must be you. And that, you know, I love the film Gladiator. I have gone right off the boil with Ridley Scott in the last few years, as you guys well know. And to this day, I have not seen Gladiator 2, and I don't want to. And I will not be seeing Gladiator 3. I just have no interest in what he's doing now, at all. Just don't. But some of the dialogue, not all of it, some of the dialogue in Gladiator is really contrived and cliched and really... As much as we love the film, it's corny as fuck. It's a remake of The Fall of the Roman Empire, really closely. If you go back to 1960s, 61's For the Roman Empire, the score by Dmitry Tiomkin, and I think we have some of that here. Pomp and fanfare. It's just a remake of that, to be honest. But some of the dialogue is great, and that line, you know, with all my heart, with all my heart, Caesar, no. Maximus, that is why it must be you. What have I always been saying about politicians? No, I don't mean to turn this into a political rant. I'm not going to do that. But what have I been saying about politicians? And I like to agree and think the same sort of thing. People who want to be a politician should never be one, because they might have, you know, altruistic ambitions, the hearts and minds and the betterment of the people. But once they start going for office and they begin to get elected, those values go. Whether those values are beaten out of them, or bribed, or they're leaned on or threatened, but those values go. So once you get higher office, they turn their backs on you, they lie. And that's across the board. People who should have the righteous power to govern, to look after people, they shouldn't want to do it. They just naturally do things for the community. And it should be the community that, right, we think you really should be leading the entire nation. You know, I don't want to do it, but you're the best. Those people are the ones who, and they're not doing it for any vainglorious reasons. They're not in it for like what they can get out of it. They're the people, and that's why Maximus should have been protector of Rome. Quintus, free my men. Marcus Aurelius had a dream of Rome. What did you say after that? It shall be so. Oh, something like that. Well, that's Jean-Luc Picard. Quintus, make it so. Rome shall be a republic again. Which is what Brutus wanted. Caesar, great warrior, a great politician, a great negotiator, and then power went to his head. He just lost the plot. Although he did sort of idolise Mark Antony. Of course, Mark Antony had a thing for Cleopatra. But then again, Liz Taylor, that really did not look pharaoh-tastic. But there you go. I mean, that could be the Battle of the Nile, maybe. That's the Battle of the Nile there. But that's great. Well, I mean, I knew it was going to be Rome, because he kind of agreed with that. So I knew it was going to be something Roman, but I didn't exactly foresee Caesar playing battleships with Brutus. Brute ships. And I was just trying to look at the ships themselves. No, they're modern, well, modern-ish vessels. They're not like Roman triremes and the galleons they used to have. They're not them, they're more modern stuff. So there you go, folks. Speaking of t-shirts and apparel, this great vest, this great retro Jaws vest, came courtesy of our friend from South Alabama, Halloween Rock, or H-Rock as he's known. And there it is, look at that. Hey. Because let's not forget, it is Jaws, the 50th anniversary this goddamn year. Those beaches will be open. Cheers, yo. That's Quint again, look at that. Quintus. That's what he'd have been called in ancient Rome, Quintus. If you're going to bring sharks to the Colosseum and flood it and have, naval battles, but with sharks as an added threat for the cheering of the crowds, he is the man that could have brought the sharks there. They did parade majestic and exotic animals just for the sake of killing Christians, killing people, slaves, and killing each other for the bloodlust of the crowds. They did do that. And they did have other things they could get from local rivers perhaps, but you can't transport a shark across the land. You can't, it's not going to happen. What are they going to put it in? It just, no, duh. Anyway, folks, them Romans, what did they ever do for us? Broad roads, yeah, irrigation, brought baths, hot spas, brought peace. Peace, shut up, Well, remember what the city used to be like. He has a wife, You wanna know what she's called? Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Who is this biggest dickus? Well, it's a joke name, sir. It's not real. It's like Silius Sodus, But it sounds very popular. And the crowd are all jeering Caesar. So his mate, who's got another lisp, because Caesar's got he can't say his R's, and they're all going to release someone. You know what we're talking about, Life of Brian, Monty Python, and they're going, look, release Waderick. We will release Waderick. Who is this Waderick? He's a robber and a rapist. And this one guy goes, and a pickpocket. And he goes, pickpocket, shut up, because he can't say his R's. And they're all laughing and jeering at Caesar. And it's like, go mad at them. And then Graham Chapman, who they all play multiple roles, he plays Biggest Dickus. Just thought about it. And he goes he's got an even worse lisp. And he goes, let me speak to them thither. And John Cleese, the Centurion's going, oh no. He goes out on the podium, addresses the multitude, the mob. We have no Waderick, but we have, and he's got a list of all the people about to be crucified. He goes, we have Devon, the disascribed, and thither here. And the crowd are going oh, he's even better. Excuse me. I would love to sit and review Monty Python's Life of Brian. It's one of the best comedies ever made. It's ruthlessly scathing, it's witty, satirical, ironic, it's slapstick, it's clever, it's absolutely, unashamedly a rampage through Roman history, Judaism, Christianity, and the Christ story. And they're so brazen and brave with it that it's obviously controversial. But any review of Life of Brian would just be me sitting here, just going through it and parroting everything of the parrot sketch, going through all of this, the film that you've seen and know so well. I'd just be quoting it and reenacting it. There'd be no actual review. Still could be fun though, couldn't it? Could it? Yeah. Right, folks. Just a short video there. For a great t-shirt, another great gift. The Kilted birthday looms in 2 weeks time, June 12th. Myself and Mrs. KILT-MAN have a joint birthday. As I always say, you can't have nothing to yourself, can you? She's even got a ramrod, that one. Ramraid, not ramrod. But so the stuff coming. There's another package over there, which is to do with this. So I'll be opening that very soon as well, which is going to be a great opportunity to just discuss a lot of supporting cast members for Jaws. So we'll have some fun with that. And there's another canvas from our good friend Steve W7 Smith is getting another canvas sorted out. So there's stuff in the works. And the other thing, the Jaws thing, is from our good friend on the Emerald Isle, Captain Ronnie. So, and I know what that is. There's no mystery to that. I know exactly what that is. We'll have fun with that, maybe later on. So, folks, in the meantime, in this ever Roman holiday in between time, please keep it Celtic, and I'm going to see you all later. But if I've got things wrong about the history of Caesar and Brutus, then I do apologise. I really don't know too much about it. Just know he got shivved and stuck, and like a stuck pig, punctured. You know, I've got a feeling if that happens to you, you are gonna put the toga again. But then it's not really happening to me, is it? You too, Brutus. Oh, yeah, bastard. You're not gonna be happy, are you? I thought you were my friend. I could have done a Darth Vader moment. Brutus, set your feelings. You know it to be true. I am your father. I'm out here, folks. Ta-ra a bit.